Unilever set out an objective with respect to their business around Lifebuoy brand soap. And some of you may have heard of Project Shakti. You know one of the single biggest causes of infant mortality in India? Anybody have? Hand washing, in the sense of dehydration that is caused by diarrhea, which is caused by person-to-person transmission of germs. I mean, there's obviously other issues with respect to water quality, but there can be a big impact with respect to improving personal hygiene. And of course, Unilever, being one of the world's largest consumer products businesses and being in the soap business, figures, well, if that's a problem, we should be able to do something about that. So they set out to sponsor and partner with community-based groups that would look to try to employ largely single women who would train, educate families and communities on the value of hand washing, including infrared, showing them how they miss spots when they wash their hands for kids, to sort of show them how important that was, and then to be able to sell soap at I'll say microscopic prices to be able to make it accessible in these markets. And so, what have they been able to achieve as part of that? 250 million people with improved hygiene in India, 45,000 people employed, 50% reduction. And then if you look across the market, now they can look at Africa, India, Asia, South America, and think about it as 1 billion new consumers in terms of their business model. So what's different is embedding a social objective within a business strategy, so that it's not just an add-on as a corporate social responsibility objective, but it's actually ingrained in what the business strategy of Unilever would be for the Lifebuoy brand soap. They do a similar thing with Dove and women's dignity and equality, and trying to build that into what they do around their Dove brand with some pretty specific objectives. Some would say they have this as part of their DNA in terms of the history of their organization. But we see that also in Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, pharmaceutical companies, et cetera, as they start to try to become more socially conscious in terms of how they do business. So what we see is this evolution. And it's not to say that, what's curious about this is, what we found was that all three of these levels are growing. It's not just an evolution from one step to the next, but the amount of philanthropy that's happening for businesses, something like 70% of Fortune 500 companies' CEOs are either leading a business that has a foundation or have a personal foundation of their own. That's an example. So we see this idea of volunteerism, millennial generation and their interest in their global survey of millennials. What do they view to be the number one objective of business? To improve society.